Do you make, going forward, how do you make the greatest difference in what you do?
I think I'm starting to realize that I make a great difference. I don't know if it's the greatest difference with the families, dealing with the families and taking the time to explain to them what's going on, because you forget that these people, a lot of them have never been through the system before, and their father or their brother or their son has just been arrested, and a lot of times no one sits down and explains to them, okay, this is what's going on, these are our hurdles, these are our chances, these are his rights, these are your rights.
Right.
You don't have to talk to the police. If you don't want to, you can if you want to. And I'm really beginning, and it's only been a year that I've been a public defender, to realize that the families are such an important, the families of the defendants are such an important part of the process, and where you can feel good. Because with criminal defendants, the end of the day, the news is pretty much always bad. If a criminal defendant goes to trial, I think that the conviction rate in federal court is something like 92%. And then 80-something percent plead guilty. So you're looking at bad news pretty much all the time. I know for me, my goal is to become the best trial attorney I can become, because it's such a skill. Cross-examination is so hard to really...
What's hard about it?
Well, it's all on the cuff, right? You never know what someone's going to get to say. While the prosecutor gets to rehearse their witnesses and make a script and they say what they say, I got to stand up based on what I just heard and cross them. A lot of times you got to call them liars, because a lot of times that's your defense, that the witness is lying. Sometimes you got to be nice and soft and easy with them. Sometimes you got to be super aggressive. Sometimes you're crossing children. Sometimes you're crossing victims. Sometimes you're crossing DEA agents. It's such a skill that I imagine will take me years to really get my hands around. And that's my immediate goal. My immediate goal is to become a great trial attorney. When you watch a great trial attorney in court, you're just in awe. I mean, it's better than any movie, any Law and Order. Someone who can stand up there and ask questions like this, listen to what's said, and then spit out the next question. It's sort of like interviewing, actually.
Right.
Except a little more confrontational. And sometimes confrontation takes years to really master.
And by honing those skills, by honing the ability to cross-examine and to confront, you can make a greater difference in people's lives, including the families, the folks you represent.
Yeah, and the people I represent, which is the most important thing. And I said this before, and this is something I really believe. As a public defender, especially, you stand up and you argue a bail argument, or you argue at court, or you even argue a sentencing issue. You have a human being sitting next to you who's probably gone through a system where nobody has fought for them. No one has stood up and say, hey, look at these reasons, look at these mitigating circumstances. And you stand up, you have this immense responsibility, a human being's liberty, right? And when I stand up and I fight for someone who no one's ever fought for, that to me is the greatest part of this job. And that's what I'd like to continue doing it the best way I can. So if I can become a great trial attorney, I'll be fighting for them in a better way. If I can really master the law and all the loopholes that people are so worried about, then I can fight for that guy in a better way. If there's a bail argument to be made, I want to make that argument. If there's a way to get the guy out, I want to get him out.